Hi, and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your night to join me. I really appreciate it. And hey, for the record, every single second that somebody spends watching these videos, understand that, I'm not the guy. I really appreciate it. I don't just, like am not grateful. You feel me? I mean, seriously, your time means everything to me. And I know this, moreover, because the greatest intrinsic asset that we all have is, in fact, our time. Now, isn't that ironic? Because we're not, entirely sure how long we'll be here or, what's in store for us after this. But I tell you that I just love what's going on right now in my life. And I want to thank all of you for continuing to support my endeavors as a middle aged man trying to make it here on YouTube. I really do appreciate that. This is, after all, Vlogs About Nothing. So you can imagine my excitement when I accomplish something that is nothing, you know? And so thank you very much for taking the time out of your night to join me. Tonight, I want to talk about the Jailscraper that's being built in Chinatown. Okay, so this takes place in New York City. Link in the description below, and then we'll wrap things up with the little few personal anecdotes that I have for you guys, all of which pertain, obviously, to the holiday season, because if you didn't know, it's the holiday season. So, I encourage you to be as nice as you can to everybody that you see out there and take that attitude even more over on into next year. Just be your best self every day. All right. So, people that can't be themselves, their best selves every day, are in jail. And so, I've talked on this channel before and I've been very public about my support for inmates within the prison system and how I just think it's a sham that, a few corporate board members get to enjoy a kind of lifestyle that some might argue is quite criminal, as a result of ironically charging people for crimes. And so, kind of to preface as we begin this conversation about the new jail scraper that is being built in downtown New York City in Chinatown. So, here's the thing. This country, just factually speaking, the United States of America, and as much as I love Uncle Sam and Uncle Anthony, if you guys have watched the videos in the past, you know what I'm talking about. Hey, I'm a good old boy. You feel me? I'm a poster child from where I'm from. Seriously, I've lived an incredibly remarkable life. I'm very happy that I had such a privileged experience. Now, the thing is I obviously have some problems with Uncle Sam and Uncle Anthony. I'm a social capitalist, and so more of a socialist, but definitely because of the time that I find myself in, which is the timeline where I find myself in the middle of the 21st century. Holy potatoes! Anyways, at this particular time, I'm a social capitalist. I think again, it's important for all of my subs and fans and viewers out there to understand that at my heart, yeah, I'm a socialist. You feel me? Like I really feel like that's what I am. Now, for all intents and purposes, because I want to be at the bargaining table, because I want to make a difference, and because I thoroughly believe that change can only come from within, I also am willing to compromise, right? So, 2024, big dog Albert's compromising. And instead of just being a socialist, I'm a social capitalist because I do believe in private property, and I just want things to be more equitable. I don't really believe in the sharing of all property, right? Just because some things we want to have, we want to own, we want them to be ours, right? Without there any kind of worry as to that big clause called eminent domain, which means that the government basically owns anything and everything they want, right? So, irony. I mean, that sounds like socialism to me. The government owns everything. They just sort of lease things out to us, including our social security card. So, in case you didn't notice, take a look at that bad boy. remind yourself that even your social security card does not belong to you. So, I mean, there's not many things that actually belong to you. You feel me? And so I bring all of these things up because I know the United States of America can be better. And yet I'm stuck in a position where I have to advocate for prison populations throughout the country because this country has more people in jail than any other country in the world. Okay? So, good things come with a little bit of shady suspect, possibly criminal things. And these don't involve the alleged criminals, right? Because again, the status quo here in America is incarceration for profit. You feel me? It's really not incarceration for rehabilitation, which ideally is something that, we should find in modern day society, right? Because ultimately, we want to all be our best selves. And I got a problem with this country and Uncle Sam knowing that there are hundreds of thousands of people locked up for petty offenses, locked up for minor violations, locked up because they're black or brown or poor white. You feel me? I mean, seriously, we talk about some different type of stuff here on the program, but let it be known, right? I mean, I had an uncle that just passed away who spent the majority of his life in jail, and I tell you, I could possibly argue that 98% of us kind of live in somewhat of a surface jail, right? I mean, seeing as though, we don't have universal health care and homelessness is rampant and unemployment will soon hit, you know, percentage points that we never thought possible. Although there are people, and there have been people like myself, sort of calling for the need to take action before it becomes a problem. But um, little bit too late, I'd say. Our current president elect is Trump, and I've said it before. We just got to kind of buckle down for the next 4 years. So this jail scraper in New York City, and eventually we get around to the topic, but I'm not for it. Okay, seriously, like it's gentrification at its absolute worst. It's seriously taking a skyscraper, turning it into a jail, and throwing it up in the middle of Chinatown, where like there aren't any other even 7-story buildings around it. So I mean, common sense would tell you that quickly, probably within the next decade or so, there could possibly not be a Chinatown. And the problem with that is that Chinatown is home to the largest Asian population in the United States of America. So, I mean, like, why are we picking on the Asians? They're here in America. You feel me? They're Americans. All right. So, like, I'm not really sure why we got to pick on people. And I'm not really sure why we have to continue to invest billions of dollars in infrastructure to incarcerate people. Okay, so Rikers Island just closed, hell on earth, right? And also, so is a lot of jail. I mean, I have compassion and empathy for the people who get locked up. Most of them are black or brown men. I'm a brown guy. You feel me? Like, I mean, in every intent and like shape of what I advocate for, I do so because I can relate. You feel me? Like I can relate. I'm not just saying it because it's like what I think, it's because I can relate. And that is why I think what I think. So I'll be the dude. It's no problem. This country has great people in it. And anybody that tells you otherwise is foolish. In fact, I'd say that the people that tell you otherwise are, in fact, the ones that are just projecting because, well, they possibly and most likely are the criminals, right? So you got the criminals living freely, right, out on the surface jail here on Earth. And then you got people who make mistakes and, have to spend years of their already, limited life in a cell because of a mistake they possibly didn't even make, right? So, I'm just saying that I don't think that New York City is in the right. I think the people in Chinatown need to continue to organize and push back efforts to have this property developed into what it is. I love this country and I'm not going to like have it. I don't want to be a part of something that is just downright evil. Like seriously, you could just like knock everything down on Rikers Island and make a new nicer jail, right? I mean, or you could work on improving societal conditions so that low income people don't end up in jail. Because I want black, brown, and poor white men, statistically speaking, making a better life for all of the citizens in our country. And they can't do that if they're locked up. They can't do that if they're locked up and not given a second chance. They can't do that if they're locked up and then given a half second chance by being thrown into a situation where they're likely to reoffend or recommit. So I urge you all out there to think about your own mistakes in life. Think about your own accountability and just understand that, you know, dads and men, like a lot of them, statistically speaking, brown, black, and poor white guys are in jail, right? Now, that might explain the absence of a lot of fathers in particularly low marginalized income homes. They're in jail. And by the time they get out, life has continued and it's moved forward. And it's incredibly difficult to just pick back up and start walking the straight line that you were walking when you first went in there. So I'm just saying, the Jailscraper in New York City is a terrible idea. And as much of a fan as I am of that wonderful and beautiful city that is just very emblematic of what a real integrated society should be like, this is not what an integrated society is. It is not building skyscrapers to house inmates, all while gentrifying the neighborhood in the most sad, ironic sort of situation ever. I mean, seriously, Chinatown's about to go up and out because of a skyscraper jail that will then attract other skyscrapers in the neighborhood. And there you go, no more Chinatown. And so I encourage all of you to, speak your mind and stand up for what you believe in and understand that there are people out there on your side. I'm one of them. And I will continue to advocate for all of those who have nothing, for all of those who, want a second chance, and for all of those that other people have deemed to not be necessary anymore. I'm not about that. I really, really am not. And so, you ever been in jail or whatever, your boys got your back here, you feel me? And only policy is going to change that. A lot of times I feel like the imprisoned population are gaslit to feel like, it's like the end for them, right? And that like they have little opportunity and that they messed up so bad, and it's sort of like, haven't you messed up? Haven't you done something that you wouldn't have done otherwise in any other situation? And did you go to jail for it? You feel me? I mean, and if you did, would it change your perspective? I think it might. And I think just having this conversation might change your perspective a little bit. And so I'm Albert. This is Vlogs About Nothing. And I hope that you guys have a really, really good and safe Friday night. It is Black Friday. So I'll spend a couple of minutes talking about how the roads right now are kind of crazy. And again, special shout to all my new subscribers and to all my new local followers who are really becoming a part of my life. And the fabric of this channel is for you, right? So I sit in front of this camera, I make videos, and I get a lot of value from this, right? Channel's not monetized, but I still get my own sense of fulfillment by doing this kind of stuff, right? Now, it's never enough. It will never be enough, and I always want to do more. So I appreciate your support. I hope that this channel gets to where I think it will be sooner than I know that it will, and I look forward to the journey. All right, so I hope that you guys have a really good night. And again, remember our conversation about that new Jailscraper in downtown New York City that is unironically probably the worst idea this country has had in quite some time, as it specifically concerns the incarcerated population here in the United States of America. So happy Thanksgiving. I know it's a day late, but I hope that you guys are well. And Cyber Monday's coming up. There's all kinds of cool things coming up. I love this time of year. I just bought a VHS copy of Mickey's Magical Christmas. So you already know what I'm doing tonight. I hope that you guys have a really good night, okay? And thank you for watching my show. Bye.